Hey guys, welcome back to Wired to Run and welcome to part 2 of Strength Beyond the Miles with Maggie Smith from Maggie Tracks Magic. If you listened to part 1, you already know why we knew this conversation needed more room. I knew a lot about Maggie's story, but talking to her, I learned so much more, and I wanted to give her the room to have those parts of her life really shine. And Maggie shared so openly about her Weight Watchers journey and losing over 100 pounds and really what it was like to navigate seasons of weight regain and weight loss. Um, Loved learning about how she was protecting muscle mass through lifting after being on a GLP-1, what it looked like to keep showing up with determination and self-compassion even when the road to her goals felt filled with detours and doubts. And I know many of us, we can struggle with that. So I know I definitely can. So it was a really powerful reminder that progress is most certainly not linear and that a hard season doesn't erase who you are and how far you've come. So today we turn the page to the race side of Maggie's story. And part 2 takes us from her runDisney journey to one of Maggie's biggest running dreams. And without giving too much away out of the gate, let's just say this story has a finish line, a dream years in the making, and a fairy tale moment that made an already unforgettable weekend even sweeter. So let's jump back in with Maggie for part 2 of Strength Beyond the Miles. What I want to talk about next is runDisney and Maggie, the charity runner and the world major marathon finisher. So
Woo!
you have run 5 marathons, right?
Yes.
Total. And have also fundraised for some very important charities as well. You have done several half marathons outside of Disney, but you're
Yes.
also a true runDisney runner through and through.
Yeah.
And among the Disney Princess Half Marathon, you've done 2 Run Disney Wine and Dine Challenge weekends, a
Mhm.
Springtime Surprise 10 miler.
Yep.
Your first 4 marathons were at Walt Disney World in 2018, 19, 22, and 23. And
Yeah.
your, oh my goodness.
Sounds
And your,
crazy when you're
oh my
saying it
God,
out
that's
loud.
crazy. And then your first 48.6 mile Dopey Challenge was in 2023.
Yeah.
And you raised over $2,000 for Boys and Girls Club of Central Florida.
Yes. Yeah.
So many of our Wired to Run family are runDisney runners. What kept bringing you back to Walt Disney World for all those races?
Well, I feel like anybody who is a runDisney runner, they get it. Like it's like your first one and it's so magical, and then you think there's no way anything could be better than this. And I love the concept of, like, the themed weekends and dressing up, and, like, I had made friends doing it. We'd sign up for races together. I was even, like, I don't know if you've heard of the butt bows, the
Oh, yep.
Dottie running with,
Dottie.
but I was a butt bow ambassador for a little
Oh,
bit.
wow. You're a Dottie girl.
And yeah, I love the whimsy of it. And then it's funny, like, I learned so quickly because the first runDisney race I ever did was the marathon in 2018. And I remember being there and people going, "Are you here for the marathon?" And I'm like, "Oh yeah, the marathon." They're like, "Oh, you're not doing the challenge?" And I'm like, "What's the challenge? What challenge?" And then it's like you hear yourself saying, like, the next year you're back and you're like, "Oh, I'm just doing the marathon." Because they're like,
It's
"What races are you
crazy.
doing?" "I'm just doing a marathon." Only at Disney would you say, "I'm just doing the marathon." So then, and I remember being like, "There's no way I could ever do Dopey. No
Mm-hmm.
way." But then people kept saying like, "Oh, the hardest part is just waking up early," over and over again. And then, that whole if you think you can, you will, and then you see people and I usually, like, when I'm really inspired by someone, I'm not jealous. I'm thinking, "Oh, if they can do it, I can do it too."
Yep.
And so there were people that were doing dopey challenges year after year after year. I'm like, and so I
Yeah.
was like, "Okay, maybe I can do one,"
Mm-hmm.
and so that's when I committed to it. And I think, like, having lost over 100 pounds definitely, like, played a big role in my belief that I could do this dopey challenge, and, um, so yeah, it was, like, the whimsy of it all, but I did get burnout, and again, these people that are doing all of the race weekends every year, multiple years in a row.
Oh gosh.
I'm not unsupportive of that. If that's your passion, like, I love that for you. But for me, I did get a little bit bored of the routes, and it's expensive.
Mhm.
Like, not just the registration, but then you're, like, staying on property, and I think if I was still local, I would be doing them more, but now that, like, I'm only 4 hours away, but it's still, like, I'm not going every month. I want it to feel like my vacation when I go, and when you're running and you have goals and all of these things, it's like it's a business, like,
Yeah.
you're there to do a job, and you wanna have fun too, but you can't, like, party
Yeah.
hardy, like, or I don't know, people do, and I'm like,
Yeah.
I don't know how you made it through the
I
race,
don't know
but
how they walk in the parks
more
the day before or the day after.
oh,
Yeah,
yeah,
it's
well, and
crazy.
I was, like, doing that with Dopey. I was, like, running and then, like, going to the park in the middle of the day, and
Oh my
you
gosh.
tell yourself, like, "Oh, I'm flushing it out, and I
Oh
won't
my
be
god.
as sore," and, like, all that stuff. It's just so funny.
Wow.
So, after
That's
Dopey, I was like, "I need a break."
that's a really interesting way of putting it. It's a job. It really is. It
Yeah.
feels like a job. It
I mean,
does.
and I think because of social media and which I love that social media is kind of glamorizing running and making it like more accessible to people and like realizing there are a lot of different people that run and running can look like a
Mhm.
lot of different things. I think that's great, but on the flip side, it's like they make it seem so casual. Like that you
Mm.
run a marathon, because it seems like once you get into that on social media and it seems like everybody's doing it and you're like, it
Mm.
just, but it's really not casual at all. It's a
It's
huge time
it's a huge
commitment to
commitment.
train
Yeah.
properly for a marathon,
It can be
and
dangerous if you don't train. I know a few folks that didn't train and it became very serious. So,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah. So I did the Princess weekend after Dopey. It was like I did Dopey in 2023 and then I did Princess 2024 because that was the only weekend I hadn't done yet and my friend really wanted to do it, and so I was like, "Okay, I'll do that, and then
Mhm.
I'm gonna retire for a little bit from Run Disney."
Do you think you'll come
Um,
back?
yes, I always like I would, especially if like I had a friend who would wanted to do a run for the first time, or there was like a really I forget what the princess theme is for this coming February, but I remember feeling intrigued and I even texted my friend, I'm like, "Do we do princess this year?" And she was like, "Girl, you have the bridal shower and the bachelorette in
Mhm.
January
Oh
and you're getting
gosh.
married in March. Like, we're not doing you're not doing this, Like, you're not doing any runs for this year." I'm
Yeah.
like, "You're
Oh,
right, it's
that's a lot.
talking so
That
much."
makes sense.
So, yeah, I
Well,
do think I would come back, but, it's, like, scary because then you'll get sucked in again.
yeah. I have to ask, what's your favorite Run Disney race weekend?
Oh, well, I think marathon because it's just a lot of people's first marathon ever. It's just,
Mhm,
like but it's just exciting. I mean, a second to that would be Wine and Dine just because I love that festival, and they
mhm.
usually have, like I love when they do a villain's theme or something
Oh,
like that,
yeah.
I feel like they get really creative with those themes, and usually
Yeah.
the weather's pretty tolerable,
Mhm.
so, yeah, but I mean, all of them are fun in their own right,
Yeah.
so, yeah.
Definitely. And when you have kids, you can always do the 5Ks with them and everything. I'm doing,
Oh,
a
yeah.
5K with my little one, her first, Run Disney race, so it's gonna be
Oh, that'll be
exciting.
so fun, yeah. I'll never forget, it was, gosh, it was the Wine and Dine half marathon. My friend and I were running it together, and we hit, like, mile 8 or 9, and we kinda hit a slump, and we just started saying, "Okay, we're just gonna take turns saying things that we're grateful for out loud." And so we would start like very basic, like, I'm grateful for my legs, I'm grateful for my lungs, I'm grateful for the weather, like, and it was like we manifested this experience, like we're starting to get into a better attitude because we're saying all of these like positive things. And then I hear Coach Maggie, and I'm like, I turned around and it was like a fellow, like a workshop member who'd had me in workshops and she was running running the half, and she was like, "Hi, oh my God, it's so cool to meet you." And I was like, "Oh, hi." And like it was like this huge boost. She was like, "I'm in your Zooms all the time." And I was like, that is so cool. Like
Gosh,
it's just like this out of body experience, like
she
um
recognized your voice. I'm like,
yeah, she
"Oh
was
my
like, "Coach Maggie,"
gosh,
like she just saw me from like ahead. But I just thought that was
it's so
it's like so
cool."
cool. So yeah, I
You
think
never
that's
know
really
who you're gonna run into at a Run Disney race for sure. It's
yeah,
pretty
very cool.
awesome. That
Mhm.
is so cool. So, what did the Dopey Challenge specifically teach you about yourself?
Well, I would say it affirmed that I'm very resilient and that if I set my mind to something, I can do it. And it also taught me the value of really committing to the plan. Um, and looking at the marathon as the victory lap. A lot of
Mhm.
people like who had done Dopey before had said the marathon is your celebration, it's your victory lap, like just soak it up. And I did. I mean, I was like smiling from ear to ear the whole race. I was in such a good attitude. And then once I had done the math of like, okay, there's no human possible way that I would get swept at this point. Like, I've officially done it based off of like how far ahead I was of the balloon ladies,
Yeah.
and I was like, unless I get hurt or something bad happens, like, I'm gonna see this finish line, like, no
Yeah.
matter how long it takes me. I just remember being like, "I freaking did it!" Just amazed, and just I know that at one point, like I said, I think it was my 2019 marathon that I saw the balloon ladies in Epcot.
Mhm.
I mean, I was toward the back of the pack,
Oh my goodness.
and I remember in that race, I called my mom being like, "I'm not gonna make it, I'm gonna get swept," and she was
Mm.
like, "Just keep putting one foot in front of the other, just keep putting one foot in front of the other until you can't put a foot in front of the other, like, just keep going," and, like, I did, and I made it, but that was a really tough race, and so then to have this, like, I just did dopey, and
Mhm.
I remember I was really close to beating my previous marathon time, but I had to go to the bathroom, and I went to the
Oh.
and I was like, "Do I just try to push through or, like," and then I was like, "I don't wanna be thinking about the fact that I have to go to the bathroom for the next 6 miles, I'm just gonna stop in Hollywood and just go." And so I was only off of my, like, previous marathon time by a few minutes, and I remember thinking, like, "And I ran 3 other races before I did this, like, this is insane." And so it was just really great. I think part of the reason why I haven't done another one is because I'm like, what if it wouldn't be that good again?
Mhm.
Because like I put so much into my training. I was so dedicated and
Mhm.
did every run that I was supposed to do um and I'm just like that's a lot and I wouldn't want to go into it and like not have as good of an experience.
Yeah, it's
So
like
I'm just like,
don't wanna ruin the perfection that it
yeah,
was. I have that same
but
fear about
but
number
that
2.
But that took me into New York training because I knew, like, the value of putting in the work. Well,
Mhm.
then you can really treat that race as your victory lap and how special that can be. So I
Mhm.
think, you were mentioning you saw my New York training is it was
Yes.
because I'd had that experience. I was like, if I show up and do this and really put in my full effort, it's just gonna make race day that much more manageable
Yeah.
and magical. And of course, with race days, there are things that are going to be without of your control that are going to happen no matter how much training you did, right? But it's like focusing on what we can control. And I can control showing up every day and doing my best and recognizing my best might not look the same every day, but like I'm going to try to give it.
Mhm.
So it taught me a lot. And it's so funny as a person, I definitely compartmentalize all of my achievements because again, on to the next thing. What's the next big challenge I'm gonna do now? And part of me blames Run Disney for that. Because they're just like, there's always another thing. Because then it's like,
Yeah.
oh, you could do a perfect Run Disney year.
Yep.
And I'm just like, I
Oh,
can't keep up with this. I can't afford it,
yeah.
guys. Like, I'm gonna have to tap out. But yeah, I don't celebrate those big things enough, and I just kinda move on to the next thing, and I need to be better about it, and, like, when you were listing off all those things in the years and stuff, and I'm just like, "Lord have mercy,
That's
that's crazy."
amazing.
And, like, knowing there's people out there that have done 3 times as much, I'm just like, "Oh god, I
That's
can't keep
ama
up."
those are amazing accomplishments. What made you want to make New York City your 5th?
Well, I was like I said, I was kind of burnt out with Run Disney, but then it's like, "Okay, I've done the Dobie challenge, like, what
What's
am I
bigger than
gonna
that? Like,
what what am I gonna do?" Right. And so
Mhm,
I set my mind on New York because I just love New York. I love visiting and I I knew that it would be really iconic. People had said so and I'd seen experiences on social media and so I was just like, all right, let's do it. I'm not really sure why it stuck out to me more than Boston or Chicago. I love Chicago too. I think it's very beautiful and I would love to run there one day. I also didn't even realize like people have the goal of doing every world major, and so that's kind of like the dopey challenge. I'm like, oh great, now I feel like I
I gotta get all 6 stars.
need to do all of them now. But yeah, I think I knew I wanted to do a major next. If I was gonna do another marathon, it was either that or I was like, I'm gonna have to focus on being faster and just doing a faster marathon. And I was like, no, I'd rather
Mm,
just do a really cool location, I guess. So I picked New York, and then I knew that I wanted to do charity because I tried lottery for Chicago actually before, and I didn't get in, and I knew how hard it was to like, just bank on the lottery, and because I had done the Dopey challenge with charity and saw, like, how extra fulfilling that could be, I was like, "Okay, I wanna do charity." So then, I researched, was looking into different ones, and my mom actually found Immerman Angels,
mm,
because she had been diagnosed with a rare form of cancer. It's atypical neuroendocrine carcinoid tumors in
mhm,
her lungs. So at the time of her diagnosis is really scary. Like we didn't really know what that was going to look like for her. And she was kind of looking into resources that were available to her for like support and stuff. And she found Immerman Angels and like went through like applying and because she had said that I never felt more alone than when I got my diagnosis, even though I have like family and friends who like love me. I just felt it's just such an isolating feeling. And Immerman Angels is a nonprofit organization that has a matching system that links up people who are going through a cancer diagnosis or even their loved ones, their caretakers and things like that, with someone who's gone through like a similar journey as like a mentor and just like someone to kind of
mm.
check in with them. So I was like, "That's really, really cool," and my mom was like, "Hey, I see that they do New York charity beds, like, you should look into this," and so I did, and I applied. You had to send in an application, and they had, like, hundreds and hundreds of applications, and they only had so many beds, and
Mhm.
I was chosen, and I was like, "Whoa," and then I had to raise, 5,000, or I think the minimum was 4,500. But I wanted to raise an even 5,000 at minimum, and I was able to do that, which was really cool.
It's amazing. Oh, what
Mhm.
amazing charity, and
Yeah.
what a great cause.
Yeah, and, I think part of, I have this platform, and I think part of the reason I have this platform is to help give back and, like, use that support system to better someone beyond me, and so it was really cool, like, how many people supported me raising money for both Dopey and the New York City Marathon. A lot of that support came from my social media, family, so it was very cool.
It's so awesome. There's a lot of people who have that platform and don't use it for something like that, so thank you for doing that. So as a three-time cancer survivor, that means a lot to me, so
Of course. Yeah, I was happy to do it. It was one of the coolest things I've ever done, and I enjoyed the race so, so, so
yes.
much. I had the
I
best
can
day.
I have to ask you about that. One thing that I took away, oh gosh, I'm gonna get choked up, saying this, but, I one of your reels, oh gosh, I'm gonna get choked up. Sorry. Every time I
Okay.
think about this, I get really in your reel, you said something along the lines of, "I remember watching videos like this, wondering if one day it would be me." And that got me waterworks, even just now talking about it. Um, there's something powerful about going from watching someone else's dream unfold and realizing that you're now living your own version of it.
Mhm.
Sorry.
Yeah,
I
I
can't
know,
help
it's so
it.
cool.
Um,
Yeah.
and that kind of moment that reminds people that they're allowed to want big things, even if they wondered if those things were even meant for them. And I
Yeah.
think a lot of us have been there, and hearing you say that and living it and seeing it come to fruition it was just incredibly powerful.
Thank you, and that's I'm so glad that that resonated with you, and I still feel that way, like, I can't believe I did that. Every, like, week or month we get away from that experience, I just think, like, wow, like I did that. Like that's so cool, And it is so cool. And it was because other people were sharing their real experiences, real what I saw as real people, elite athletes are real people, right? But that they're elite athletes, it's their professional responsibility, and I know that I'm not a professional athlete, but so it was like seeing real people post that they were doing this and having these just like amazing experiences. It led me to try, and then if I can share my experience and encourage another person to try, I mean, there's just not anything like running a marathon. And now with New York, I'm absolutely spoiled. I can't imagine. I remember, thinking Run Disney was like peak experience. But oh my gosh, like New York is just, and I'm just like, is every world major going to be like that? Because if not, like I'm good. I'm good. I don't want to say. I don't want to say it's so special. Uh,
Oh my gosh.
and I think like when you're doing these like really big things, it's like coming from that place of gratitude just
Yeah.
makes all the struggles more manageable, right? It's like
Yeah.
I have this bracelet that I wear when I run that has like my emergency information on it or anything, just like in case something were to happen. But it says for the people who can't.
Mm.
And whenever I'm running, I think about the people who just don't have the same opportunity, whether it's life circumstances, health, or just the people that really wanted to run in New York 2025 and they couldn't get a bib. I just think about that and I just don't want to take any of those opportunities for granted, and even just the littlest things, knowing that there's someone out there that would really wish to be in those shoes, and it just kind of helps me stay grounded in that
Mm,
for sure.
wow, that's incredibly powerful. Wow, you making me cry, girl.
Sorry.
That's why I think that your Instagram is so moving. You're such an inspiration to so many people because you're so real and honest and vulnerable, and you allow that vulnerability to literally reach out of the screen and touch so many people,
Yeah,
and allow others to open themselves up to be vulnerable and attempt things that scare them.
yeah,
They dream scary dreams and attempt things that they never thought that they could do. So
yeah.
that's a really big blessing. So
Thank you. It's good encouragement for me to keep going because it does get tough sometimes, or just you get burnt out or you run out of creative ideas and all of that. And so it's encouraging to hear from you because it just reminds me that yeah, even if I'm helping one person, it's really worth it for sure.
absolutely. So
Mhm.
what was it like when you were just running down that road through all the boroughs and running to the finish line, like literally living your dream?
It was so cool. Like, when I tell you I was smiling from ear to ear, I don't remember ever hitting the wall. Um, I don't I one thing I did that was really cool, there's an app called Rally, and you can, like, send it out to your family and friends, and they can pick a
Oh
mile and
yeah.
do a voice recording, and I'd never done that before, and, I had the most beautiful voice memos, throughout the whole race. I didn't listen to any music, I just had my headphones on for when those would pop up, um, and that was so special, it kept me really grounded. The crowds in New York are insane. Like, if you run Disney Friends, if you could think of like Main Street USA and the people that are crowding there for the race to cheer people on, it's like that times a million the entire race. I mean, there was a point where I couldn't even hear the rally messages because when I was running through Brooklyn because the crowd was so loud and just roaring, and I wore my name across my chest really big. So people were cheering me on, like, go Maggie," like, the whole way, and, like, I gave so many hand fives, like, just was absolutely incredible. I'm getting chills right now just, like, thinking
I
about
have
it 'cause
I was gonna say I have
such a it was such
goosebumps.
a cool experience, and then I remember, I we got to mile 25, I think, is when I started doing this, but, like, I hit this kind of, like, point of delirium where I was just, like, every person I was passing, because that was another thing. I'm in a run walker, so I follow like an interval strategy, and I was like so proud I had not deviated from my intervals at all. I was just like feeling so good, and I think because I had done all my training and was sticking to my intervals, I still had energy. Mile
Yeah,
25, I was picking up speed. It was like the adrenaline was like kicking in. I was passing people, which
that's
was
amazing.
not my normal MO. Okay. But as I was running past them, I was like, "We're doing it. We're doing it." Like completely strangers, I'm just yelling at them like, "We're doing it." And like they're like, "What?" Like some of them are like really stressed. I'm like, "We're doing it. Like we're about to cross the freaking finish line for the New York City Marathon." Like, holy crap. Um and my now fiance was standing, at New York. I didn't know this, but like I run Disney, it's like free to wait in the grandstands and just like be right by the finish line. At New York, and I'm sure other majors as well. There's like a place close to the finish line that you can pay like a good bit of money to be a part of, and then like a little bit further out from the finish line, it's free. So I was like, just go as close as you can get while still being free. So he was like point two from the finish line or something. Like I could see the finish line from where he was, but he has a video of me. And I'm coming down the pipe, and I'm just going like I'm doing it, babe. Like I did it, babe. Like I just
Oh
am
my
saying that over and over again.
god.
But that's like the same thing that I was like saying to everyone, like we're doing it, we're doing it. And so when I crossed the finish line, I was like, I can't believe I just did that. Because,
Right.
with I knew that I could do hard things, right? Like I've done
Mhm,
dopey, and I knew like I could finish a marathon. But like the New York Marathon is allegedly like one of the hardest of the majors. It's super hilly. Whereas compared to Walt Disney World, it's pretty flat other than like the overpasses,
mhm.
which like have nothing on the bridges at
No,
at New York.
no, you're
Um and
right.
so, like, it was just like this different kind of accomplishment where, because I live in Florida and in Tallahassee, it can be hilly, but you just like never know. I'm like, did I prepare enough? Did I run enough hills? Did I like, am I ready?
Mhm.
And I just felt so good the entire race, and just to know like I did that, and it was just
It's
amazing. It
incredible.
was it
Oh
was
my god.
my favorite finish line I've ever had, and I've had some pretty like impactful finish line experiences, so it was really cool.
So, what did that crossing that finish line mean in context of everything you'd walked and run through in your weight loss journey?
Oh, yeah, 'cause, uh, that's a great question. I'm like, well, and it was like it was a month into starting Zepbound. I'd already started to feel a lot better mentally. I had gotten through, like, that big season of Regain, and I think, again, it just kind of affirmed, like, I am resilient. Like,
Mhm.
I know some some characteristics about me, and it's like I'm not gonna let anyone take that away from me. I know I'm resilient. I know I'm empathetic. I
Mhm.
know I'm a great listener. Um, I know I'm a cheerleader. Like I was cheerleading those people for the last mile, basically. I'm constantly cheering other people on, my friends, and that because I know like complimenting others and encouraging others just makes me feel good, makes me feel better. So it just kind of affirms, like, all of those things,
Mhm.
And, like, again, tying back to what you said about not letting that, season of Regain define the whole story, it's like,
Mhm.
how could I let it? If I'm
Yeah.
doing all of these other things, like, how could I possibly let it when
Yeah.
I have all of these other amazing qualities about myself, um, and then I'm seeing, like, the fruits of my labor. It's pretty
Right.
cool.
Did, being on Zepbound affect at all your fueling for the training or anything like that?
Yes. Oh, I had one really not great training run in October. Um I it was like I think my third week on medication. I don't think I ate breakfast before I ran, but I thought in my mind, "Oh, it's like only so many miles." Like it wasn't a lot. When once you've been in the double digits for so long, you're like a 5-mile run. Psh,
Yeah.
that's
Nothing.
nothing. I'm doing it before church on a Sunday.
Mhm.
And so I don't remember what I had to eat, but I do know that I ate a gel, and then, like, or during the run at some point, and then I should have had a second one, and I didn't. And because I was like, "I'm fine, and I'm almost home," and then I tripped and fell. It
Oh
was,
my
like,
gosh.
everything that could have gone wrong. I, like, busted up my forearm. Luckily, I didn't hurt myself other than, like, scrapes and stuff, but I was, like,
Yeah.
bleeding and still, like, 2 miles away from home. I was
Oh,
like, "Oh my god."
no.
Then I got back inside, and I was like I felt so sick, like, I thought I was
Oh,
gonna pass out. I mean, it was bad.
wow.
Um, and so I was like, "Okay, that didn't work.
Uh-huh.
Not doing that again." And
Uh,
so I realized, like, I gotta kinda switch up what I bring in my belt so that I have options in case, like, something doesn't sound good.
mhm.
Um, so, like, in my 20-mile run or, like, whatever what I called my dress rehearsal, and I had, like, my full outfit on, and it was, like, my last big long run, I brought, like, my energy goo, but also the, chews and also, pretzel sticks and Ritz Bits crackers
Oh,
and
that's
just,
a
like,
good
random,
suggestion.
like yeah, like, I've had all kinds of different stuff, so I was like and I set a timer, and I was like, "You have to eat every, like, 30 to 45 minutes." I think I bumped my fuel up sooner so that I could take longer to eat it, because that's the thing about GLP-1 is it slows down your digestion, and I don't have as much of a problem now, but when I first started, I really took a long time to finish any food. And so even like a gel just felt like it was taking me forever to finish. So I just bumped it up earlier instead of every 2.5 miles or 3 miles, I was doing it every 2 miles. So that way, if it took me longer to eat it, then by the time I really needed
It's a
it,
good
it was at least
strategy.
in my system. Yeah. And so that helped. And so that's what I did on race day. It's like I fueled early and often.
Mhm.
And I was taking my salt and everything, even though it wasn't as hot in New York as I'd been training in Florida. I was like taking my little salt tabs and just, I was like, you do not want to feel miserable
Mm-mm.
at the end of your race because you didn't do what you needed to do. So,
Yeah. Oh,
um,
wow. Wow.
yeah, I honestly feel like it would be easier now because my body has adjusted to the medication. Doing it during a marathon within the first month of starting was like
Mhm.
kind of crazy, but I was also just so done and
Yeah,
didn't want to wait any
yeah,
longer that I was like,
yeah. That's
we're going
yeah.
for it.
One thing happened in New York City that I'm
Mhm.
excited to ask about the details. What did New York City mean to you beyond the marathon itself?
Yeah. So, as I mentioned, my now fiance was with me on the race and or at the for the weekend. And it was so funny because he asked me with New York, again, you can't like meet up with your people right away, similar to like Run Disney where you have to like walk through the big chute to then through the if you dropped your bags off or whatever and you're gonna do a big lap around. It's almost a full mile of like the athletes village or whatever they call it before you can like reunite with your people. And every, like, TikTok I had seen was, like, pre plan a meetup point and, for your people because you might not have cell phone service, it might be hard to, like, get to where you need to go, so, like, really be diligent about where you're gonna meet up after the race. There's a bakery called Levan Bakery that has cookies, they're, like, pretty famous in New York, and they were giving away a free cookie to marathon finishers. And so that was one of my, like, motivations was, like, I need to get to the bakery before they close because that's another thing about New York is that you're not starting at 5 a.m.
Oh,
I
yeah.
started at, like, 11:15 a.m. So, like,
Mhm.
I wasn't done till, like, 7 o'clock.
Yeah.
And I was like, "I have to get to the bakery before they close." So, the night before, we're making our plan, I'm like, "Okay, we should meet at Levan Bakery because like, it was a very convenient meetup location. And he was like, "Are you sure?" And I was like, "Yeah, I wanna get my free cookie." He's like,
Yeah.
"Oh,
Okay.
okay,
The
okay."
cookie's important.
So then I'm done with my race, I'm headed to Levan, he's like, "I'm on my way." Um, and, like, I'd FaceTime my mom and was walking with her basically the whole way. I get there before I beat him there, and then there's a line out the door, so I'm just, like, waiting in line, and then he comes up and meets up with me, and I have, like, all this stuff. I have, like, this they give you this orange cape to put on after you win or win, after you finish.
You
They
won,
give
girl.
you
You won.
yeah, yeah. give you, like, a goodie bag of stuff. I had my, like, race belt still on, and so he's like, "Do you have everything, like, that you need? Like, what you got there?" Like, talking about my medal and the bag, and I was like, "Oh, yeah, like, I have this and this." He's like, "Is that everything? That's all you have with you?" And I'm like, "Yeah," and he's like, "Oh, no, I think you forgot something." And then he, like, pulls out a ring out of his front pocket, and he gets down on one knee, and he, asks me to marry him. He's like, "Will you do the honor of marrying me?"
Oh
And,
my
of
god.
course, I said yes, and these people that were standing in line, they're like, "Oh my god, wait, he's proposing," and so they took pictures,
So
for us, which I thought
exciting.
was really nice, and sent them to me. Um, but, yeah, it was, like, just on this random street in front of this random bakery. I just wanted my free cookie.
Oh
But that
my
was just the first time we were able to meet up. If he could have, it would have been at the finish line or at least like close to it. But he didn't want to
Yeah.
argue with me about my cookie. So, rightfully
The
so. So
woman
then
wants
I
a
was,
cookie.
yeah. So then I'm
Her
like,
victory cookie.
I'm still getting my cookie.
I would
Um,
have done the same thing.
and what's so funny is like I didn't even eat like a third of
Oh,
that cookie. Like
oh
after a
my
marathon,
gosh.
you're so like your stomach's all like,
You're s
"Ugh,"
yeah,
and then
exactly, and you're
the
so
I
excited
thought
you just got
I was
engaged.
I know, I was like, and I was on my with the medication, I was like, "Oh my gosh, I just ran a marathon, I'm gonna get a big dinner." Like, I
Yeah,
hadn't even
yeah.
we we went to Carnegie Hall Diner. It was just, like,
Mhm.
something that was easy and, like, open and not far from our hotel, and, I, like, got this big plate of food, but I was all jacked up, I ran a marathon, I was engaged, I'm on medication, I, like, took, like, 3 bites of that dinner, like,
You're
I
like, "I'm
just
good."
it's so funny, yeah, like, I left the cookie behind in New York, it's just like,
Oh
oh,
my gosh.
it's so
So
funny.
so how
Yeah.
does it feel to have, like, such a huge running milestone and such a personal milestone connected in the same trip? Like, were you, like, on the plane back and just, like, "Pinch me" kinda moment? Was it like,
Yeah, it
"Is
was,
this
like,
really
the best
happening?"
day. It was the best day
Oh.
ever, and it was our dog's birthday, so it's, like,
Aw,
November 2nd is,
oh,
like
Bristol's birthday. Oh,
yeah,
oh
even
my
more
god.
special. No, yeah, it was just, like, so cool. I I'm really happy, and now, like, anytime, I go back to New York, it's like I'm gonna have so many feelings, and,
Mhm,
um, it's just so special. I got the bling, like, I got my bling for my medal,
mhm.
and I got my bling for
So
my
you got your
ring,
bling
and
and your bling, and now you have to go
"We
back and get a
blinged out."
cookie every time you go to New York. You gotta make it stop.
Yeah, it's gonna be so
That's
special,
so
so
wonderful. Congratulations to you both. That is so
thank
such a
you.
great
Yeah,
engagement story.
we've been together a long time. He's my number one
Wow.
supporter, best friend besides my mom. He has some
Oh,
tough competition between her, but
oh my
yeah, he's
goodness.
so special. He's always been so supportive of everything that I've ever done,
Wow.
and I love him so much, and now he's gonna be
Oh,
my husband, so
that's
it's
awesome. That's
exciting.
amazing. On a note with your mom, how's she doing now? She's
She's
doing
doing well. Her like most recent update in terms of her cancer. So it is like with this type of cancer, tumors grow like so incredibly slowly.
mhm.
And so she'd been on like every few months scans and then got pushed to like every 6 month scans, and now she's on just yearly
That's
scans
awesome.
because
It's
it
just
so
spread apart.
that
Yeah.
feels good. She's like, other than the fact that like I know in the back of my mind that I have
Mhm,
this diagnosis, like it doesn't really affect her day-to-day life, which is a huge blessing. It does
mhm,
unfortunately make it not a great fit for her to do any kind of GLP-1,
mhm,
which she wishes she could, but
mhm,
her specific type of cancer, it could like accelerate it, so it's just not
mhm,
worth it.
mhm.
So that's kind of a bummer, but she's doing okay.
Oh, sweet.
She's excited about the wedding, and she's been
Oh my
helping me a lot with planning. So
That's so
yeah,
awesome. Oh my
yeah, it's
goodness.
really
A lot of
fun.
celebrating coming up this year. It's
Yeah,
exciting.
definitely.
One of the things that fascinated me as I learned more about your story outside of the running and the strength training and is you're a music teacher, an opera singer, and you play in a handbell choir. Let's talk about that. That's amazing.
The side quest, yeah.
Yes. Oh, how did so
I
handbell choir? Tell me about that.
so I am like the queen of side quests, and
Are you
I
sure you're
like
not ADHD?
I'm not sure. That's the thing. I didn't want to like I never want to belittle any or one's experience, or like
Yeah.
how people say I have OCD, and it's just like they want their desk like organized. But I probably am undiagnosed. Um, I just love having a side quest. So the same year that I decided to run New York City Marathon, I decided to also like join a handbell choir, having never played handbells before, because I've always wanted to be a part of an instrumental ensemble. I'll never forget, on the same lines of like side quests. When I was in college for music education and vocal performance, I had a lot of friends who were in the University of Kentucky marching band, and I just always thought it looked so cool. And, like, I had to take a victory lap because of my double major, and so my 5th year, I was like, "What if I join the marching band and just, like, play cymbals or something?" Like, it's I feel like I could do it, like, I was just kind of, like, thinking about it out loud, and my friend at the time was like, "You're never gonna graduate. You're always doing too much." But I'd always just, like, wanted to be a part of it. Um so I teach this class for students with disabilities, an adaptable music class, and we have what they call desk bells, which are like these bells that you can either play like a ice cream cone, or you can sit on top of the desk and just like tap the top of the handle and it makes the bell. So it's really adaptable. They're like bright, fun rainbow colors, and we've done songs with those handbells. And one of the paraprofessionals in the class who helps me a lot, was in this like professional community handbell choir. And so I would pick his brain like for techniques and different things. And then I was like, I should just like try out handbell choir. And he was like, well, we actually just picked up for the fall semester. And I just thought, oh, I'll just try it out, because I knew I could read music, but like I didn't know what I was getting into. And so the director, she's a very, very lovely person, but she's one of those people where she's like, once you're in, you're in. She's gonna like, "You're coming back next week, right?" So I was like, "You're not gonna let Claudia down, are you?" And so I was like, "I guess I'm in the handbell choir now." And so then it became like a big commitment.
Wow.
And so I was like, we rehearse every Tuesday from 7 to 9, and then, like, during the holiday season, we had a
Oh,
lot of concerts because people
I can
associate
imagine.
that. But then in the spring, we did, popcorn playbills and prima donnas, so the music was all from movies or musicals or opera. One of the handbell members arranged an opera aria for handbell choir, and then I sang, um, with the
Wow.
handbells. It was pretty
Do you have
fun,
a
so we
video
did
of that?
that.
I would love to see that as an opera singer. I would love to
I
see that.
I do, I will have to send it to you.
Yes, please.
But it was pretty fun.
That is really
Unfortunately,
cool.
I'm not gonna go back for next year,
No.
not forever, but I really do have to take things off my plate as I'm gonna
Yes,
get married and stuff.
exactly.
So, and it
You've
was like
got a lot going on.
all of the busy concert seasons for bells aligns with the busy concert seasons of like school and church, and I was like, I am gonna go insane. So I was like, I love that I tried it. It was great for I am a growth mindset kind of person. I always want to get better at things and like try new things.
Which type of bell do you play?
I played mostly in the bass
Yeah.
octave, like bass section. The director prides herself in like making us all switch positions so that we not get stuck like mentally like these are my bells that I play. So I played anywhere from like a sharp, like, at the top of the bass staff to the low C below the bass, like the big, big bells, because Claudia follows me on Instagram. She knows I'm a strong girl, and the big, big bells can weigh like 10 to 15
Yeah.
pounds. And you're like, "Woo," like trying to ring them. So I'm too strong for the tiny, tiny bells. I would not be able to play with the finesse required. Um, to play the little bells. So I was always like, um, the the medium to big bells, yeah. But what I didn't realize, like, a lot of times, like, in instrumental music, like, let's say you're playing oboe and you have your music, it'll be just the oboe part. For handbells, you're looking at every single note that happens in the whole song, so you just have to, like, find and follow your, like,
Oh my
your
goodness.
2 little or 4 little bells notes that you're in charge of, like, the whole time, so it was really good stretch for my musicality too, because it's just something I wasn't
That's
used to.
incredible. And you're an opera singer as well. Would you like to share a little bit about that?
Yeah, I it's a thing that I do. I don't know. I love music. It's a huge part of my life. I sing and um been singing since I was at least in 5th grade and went into the opera world because I thought it was more accepting of people who are overweight. I love musical theater,
Mm.
and if I could go back or if I could study now where I feel like they're a little bit more open-minded to a variety of body types, I probably would have pursued musical theater more heavily. A lot of my role experience was in those, like, big sing musicals like Les Mis, Phantom, Sweeney Todd, Light in the Piazza, but I went into opera because I thought, "Oh, like, I can be overweight and sing opera."
Mhm.
But yeah, I went into opera because I thought I would have a better shot. But I love singing it. I love singing, like, concert stuff. I've done, like, the White House Cantata, the St. John's, Passion. I love just, like, singing with orchestra, even if it's not in, like, a full production. It's fun. I like to sing.
If you could go back to 2024, 2025, Maggie, what's one truth you wish you could go back and tell her?
Oh, that it's okay, and you're gonna get through it. Just keep going, and I did, I kept going. That's how I got to the other side. One thing about me is I never actually fully gave up on myself at all. I think I would just give her a little bit of encouragement of like, you're gonna get through this season and it's gonna be worth it.
Mhm.
And you'll help people with their story. So it will
I love
all
it.
work out.
It's awesome.
Yay.
So, yeah. Before we wrap up, I wanted to connect two things that are such meaningful parts of your story, music and movement. So, this is
Yes.
our Songs That Run a segment. And this is where we ask our guests to share a song that moves them, motivates them, rescues them, carries them through a run. So, we decode what kind of running song it is. Will couldn't join us for this episode because our little one's under the weather. So, he was
Oh.
not on this one. But out of all of our guests we've done this with on the show, this feels extra fitting because music is such a huge part of your life. So,
Hmm.
Maggie, you brought to us the song that runs you, Out of the Woods by Taylor Swift.
Yes.
Yeah. Believe it or not, I've never heard the song before. So,
Oh my gosh, it's so good. Well, and I just love Taylor, and she was so kind to come out with a brand new album a month to go before the New York City Marathon that I could just listen to on repeat over and over and over
that's
again for every
awesome.
single run. It was so helpful of her. I really appreciate her.
That is
Um,
awesome.
but Out of the Woods is actually from her 1989 album, and which that album centers around a lot of the time that she spent in New York and like her love of New York, which is pretty cool too.
Oh, that's
So.
awesome. Oh, very
Yeah.
cool.
Mhm.
So, very fitting. So, what we have to do is I had to listen to the song ahead of the recording because obviously we can't play it because licensing it. But it falls into one of seven categories could fall into multiple. So, does it fall
Mhm.
into one for you or
I would say it is, 2
two? Okay.
categories. Yeah.
Okay. And it could be a get out the door song. So a song that would motivate Maggie to get out the door and get on her run. A lock in song that puts her in the zone and makes her feel like she could run forever. Dangerous confidence song, which makes you feel like an elite runner and maybe go a little too fast. A rescue song that will save her from a run that's maybe gone wrong or it's been really challenging. An emotional ambush song hits her hard. She might have to pull over and cry. A float song that makes her run feel easy, light as a feather, floating through the miles that normally feel like a slog, or a final push song that gets her over the finish line to victory. So I have my notes and I'll tell you, I don't, can't really shower on here, but um, right out of the gate, I was like synth pop song. I'm on board because I love that type of vibe. So lyrically, it sounds like a song of desperation. Totally holding on to. But what Taylor Swift song doesn't really, like pulling at
True.
your heartstrings. She definitely pulls on everybody's heartstrings. Um, about keeping your head above water, hanging by a thread, restlessness, tossing and turning, kind of racing thoughts, almost like a feeling of never quite settling, a constant undertone of like anxiety, so many layers of like so many layers compositionally. Like I was just,
That's
just
Taylor.
holy moly, this woman's got super talented. I mean, that's goes without saying, but
Mhm.
wow, the lyrics though were just so um dramatic that I was just like, I mean, I loved it. I've never
Yeah.
heard the song before. I'm like, that's getting added to my playlist. So, and there's like that vibe of spiraling mentally. And that's the whole repetition of cinematic mental looping. Very ADHD, which was like perfect for this, perfect ADHD running song too for
I
our
love that.
listeners. So, and it kind of reminds me of my song that runs as it was "Touch and Go" by Bob Moses, which is almost like a kind of like a almost like are we out of the woods? Kind of like an uncertainty in a relationship kind of thing. That's kind of
Mm,
mine. So I totally understood that. So that's why I was like very, very drawn to that whole like drama and the cinematic feel to
mhm,
that. Um, Instrumentally, there was like right out of the gate, the like synths kind of like buzzing in the very beginning, and then it kind of contrasted with the drum beating, almost like in a march forward. And then there was these like backing vocals that kind of like echoed in the background. With all of that kind of like combining, there was almost like a propulsion feeling driving forward that
mm,
was sounding almost like a locomotive with the tracks kind of rushing beneath it.
mm.
So it was almost like a runaway train feeling. Like for me, never hearing
Yeah.
the song before, like
Yeah,
just
that's great.
instrumentally, I'm like listening really, really closely. It was very, very intense. I didn't think it was a lock-in song out of the gate because there's so many dynamics, just varying dynamics. Like the verses were very controlled and the chorus was very obsessive and chaotic. So just a lot of dynamics to that. So I didn't think it was going to be a lock-in song. And I had to will listen to it just to be like, okay, I know you're not on the episode, but I want to get your thoughts. What I gathered was like a song of survival, and there was more of like a perpetual motion driving forward and an urgency. I was like, okay, it's either one of two things. It's either a rescue song or it's a final push song.
Mm,
So I'm curious. Will said lock-in song or emotional ambush. So I'm
okay,
curious.
so I loved hearing your take on that. You're really great at, like, describing and articulating your thoughts around music.
Thanks.
What's funny is I see this as a lock-in song or a dangerous confidence song.
Get out of here. Oh my
Yeah.
gosh, he won.
A lot of it, like, has to do with, the bridge,
Yeah.
and she's just, like that's, like, one thing about, like, with Taylor is, like, her bridges are just, like, they just keep going and keep going, like, she doesn't stop,
Yeah. Oh, that
and, like,
makes sense.
yeah, and so and especially with, like, you mentioned the, like, steady, like, kind of chaotic build of it, and I
Yeah.
feel like with the lock-in, it's like and you think about how you want that, like, very last push over the
Mhm.
finish line to be, like, pulling through to the end. So I
Yeah.
feel like that's why that motivates me in that way, and then, like but dangerously confident is, like, if I start it too early and then I just get excited with the
Oh,
bridge and then
yeah.
I just, like, wanna run fast. Also, what doesn't help is this song, okay, so I love The Summer I Turned Pretty, the series,
Mhm.
on Amazon. It was based off books, but, it's also a show, and in the 3rd season, like, there's these characters named Belly and Conrad, and, like, spoiler alert, but, like, we all knew that they were gonna be the ones to end up together, but Belly, like, she kind of they're in Paris, and, Conrad's, like, come to celebrate her birthday, and, like, they're kind of, like, rekindling, but she's, like, scared, right? Because 'cause they've, like, gone down this path before and it's failed and all this stuff, and so she, like, sends him away, and he's, like, getting on a train to go home, and she's realizing she's alone, and, like, she realizes, like, "Oh my god, I made a mistake." And so she just starts trying to go after him, and she's running, like, she tries to catch a cab and she can't get one, and then she's just, like, running to the train station and Out of the Woods is playing, and I mean, she's, like, sprinting to her man. So I think, like, I also have, like, that association in my
Oh,
head when I'm
yeah.
listening to that
Yeah.
song. Um,
Oh, wow.
the Summer I Turned Pretty has used a lot of Taylor's music throughout the 3 seasons, and it's funny, like, you build new associations with songs, um,
Yeah.
because of the show, so I think that's why I love it, and I love, like, the whole album for 1989. Um,
Wow. The
yeah,
dangerous confidence definitely makes sense now for sure. Yeah, and we didn't see
yeah,
lock-in song coming, but Will says lock-in for almost everybody, so he's like, "That's the safe bet." And it
yeah,
usually I think Coach Tom's the last interview was a lock-in song too. I'm like, I'm not going to go that route. It's too easy, but maybe I should start
Yeah.
going with lock-in. But that's
Yeah.
awesome. I mean, if that gets you through it, but if that's the big thing is like we try to get people, listeners to think about the music that they listen to a little bit differently. And that it's
Mhm.
not just music that they're listening to, that when they categorize it a different way and use it in a different way to help
Yeah.
them get through different parts of runs, it represents different things to them.
Yeah, and I think for me, like the, which one was it? Oh, the rescue song, and things like that. Like I feel like when I'm having really tough runs, I don't turn to music. It's like
Yeah.
usually if I'm having a tough run, it's because I just like am annoyed at the fact that I'm like doing this thing by myself and it's like a long time, and I'm just like
Mhm.
I'm ready to be done with this, and so usually I'll
Yeah.
put on a podcast
Mm,
or I'll call someone and I'll like talk on the phone.
that
And
makes
so I feel
sense.
like that's what I do, like, more in terms of, like, when I need support or, like, encouragement, but when I just, like, wanna vibe, that's when I'm
Yeah.
listening to music, so I feel like most of the music is, like, more positively, associated or just, like, gets me hyped. One of the
Yeah.
podcasts that I listened to a lot in my last training block was called House of Mar,
Mm.
and it's Alona Mar's podcast. Alona is a Olympian rugby player, and she's also
Oh,
like
yeah.
pretty popular on social media for like body confidence and like normalizing like athletes can look a lot of different ways. And I love her and really resonate with her message. And um, she has a podcast with her sisters, and I just love listening to them because it just feels like I'm hanging out with like friends while I run, and they
That's
talk about
awesome.
all kinds of different things. But yeah, so
I love
I
that.
love it.
I'm gonna check that out because I love that the body positivity, so it's
Yeah.
awesome. Well, I love your story, Maggie. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, and I love that your whole story, it doesn't fit neatly in a box.
No, no, it's very long.
Yeah. But you know what? It's fascinating, and I love that you're comfortable to share it with everybody, and it's the moments that no one sees and finish lines and the fight to really keep going through all of this and, setbacks, the rebuilds, and your journey is so powerful because it hasn't been perfect every step of the way. It's powerful because, showing up in every season, and it's exactly what our listeners really need to hear. Every season matters and it leaves behind a lesson, a scar, a little bit more courage. So it's all becoming part of who you are. And we just thank you for, sharing your inspiring journey with us. So
Yay! Thank you so
thank
much for having me. It's been
you.
a pleasure.
And friends, if you'd like to follow along with Maggie's journey, you can find her on Instagram at Maggie Tracks Magic, all one word. Thanks so much.
Yay! Love
Yay,
to have you.
Maggie.
Thank you.
Well, Wired to Run family, we hope you love this conversation with Maggie as much as I did. Her story is powerful and inspiring and so full of resilience and determination. But what makes it even more meaningful is really how relatable so many parts of it are, not just for us ADHDers or neurodivergent runners, but for anyone who has ever struggled with motivation or food noise, discouragement, staying consistent, or feeling like you're starting over again and again and again. Stories like Maggie's remind us that we're not alone in this messy middle. We're so grateful she came on the podcast and shared her incredible journey with us. She's such a great friend. If you'd like to follow along with Maggie, you can find her on Instagram at Maggie Tracks Magic, all one word. She has built an incredible community over there, and it's such an encouraging place to be. So definitely check it out. We'd love to connect with you in between episodes over at Instagram at Wired to Run Pod and on Facebook at Wired to Run Podcast. You can also check out our Spotify community playlist, Wired to Run Podcasts, Songs That Run Us playlist, and add the songs that run you. And if this episode encouraged you or helped you feel a little less alone in the miles, we would be so grateful if you would leave us a rating or review. It helps more runners find the show and have the opportunity to connect with our Wired to Run community. We're so glad you spent this time with us today. Until next time, let's lace up, lock in, and let's go the distance. As you all know, we are just here sharing our experiences as ADHD runners. Don't take anything here as medical or mental health advice. Always seek out advice from your own medical and mental health professionals.